Oh my gosh. You've got to be kidding me. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie, and today is all about the books that I read in 2020. Now, this is probably a shorter list than most people on BookTube, but I have a very good reason for that. I have a very good reason. I didn't start reading until about June. I didn't find BookTube until like April-ish, May-ish, and then I found this community and I was like, there is a community that talks all about books. I like to read, so it only makes sense that I started BookTube, so I did. And I have to thank you guys because we are at, right now as I'm recording this, 110 subscribers, which blows my mind because I honestly never thought that I would even get 1 subscriber, let alone 110. So thank you guys very much for subscribing to my channel and interacting with me. I love talking to you guys in the comments, and I just like learning about new books and things like that through you guys. So thank you so much for supporting me. If you do enjoy bookish type videos and you're new here, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up even if you're not new, because it's Christmas and it's a nice thing to do. And if you're not subscribed, be sure to click that subscribe button and hit the notification with the bell, because YouTube's just not, it's being YouTube. But anyway, without further ado, let's talk about all my book stats for this year. So in total, I read 11 books. Although Goodreads says 12. I don't think it was. I think it was 11. Because I think. We'll see. I have my Goodreads pulled up here. So, don't mind me and my iPad. We're fine. Okay. So it says that the pages read was 4,493. And I read 12 books. However, like I said, I think it's 11. I don't think Goodreads can read. It's fine. Or counts. They can read. They just can't count. Okay. My shortest book was 260. And that was, well, you'll see. And then my longest book was 501 pages. So, pat on the back for me. You know, because it's weird, like, I was in a big reading slump for like so many years because I was like in college and I didn't have time to do anything but read about psychology and counseling and theories and stuff that makes my head hurt. So, good for me. Pats for me. Pats for me. Okay. My average book was 374 pages, which is not bad. The most popular, I will say like what my most popular book was. Okay. So my most popular book was Twilight. I did rewrite. I rewrote Twilight, y'all. No, I didn't. I reread Twilight, this year because I wanted to read Midnight Sun, but we didn't get there. That's fine. And then my least popular book was Kisses and Croissants, and I don't have a physical copy of that, but I will talk about it later when I get to it. It was an ARC that I had gotten from NetGalley. So cute. Oh, I can't wait to tell you about that one. But my average rating was 4.3 because I have low standards and everything was just to me. My highest rated book on Goodreads was Lovely War, which should, because that's a great book, and it has a 4.25 rating on Goodreads when it really should be like 5, but other than that I'm not saying anything. Okay, so let's get into the books that I read. So it looks like the first book that I read in this year was Red Queen, and this was actually a reread because I was like, I'm going to get into it and I'm going to read this whole series this year, because I got to the second book in this series and I had to DNF it. I got like 100 and so pages in, and I'm like, this book is just taking forever to do anything. So I just kind of stopped that. I'll go back to it next year because I would just like to eventually finish the series. If you finished it, let me know. Is it good? Does it get better than the second book? Because the second book, I'm just like, oh, it's dragging, honey. I just had to stop it. But the first book, I really enjoy. I love the atmosphere of it. I think the author is great at describing like where this takes place, and the setting is like, you can really, I could visualize it, which is good because she's a screenwriter first and foremost. So it was definitely I could see it in my head. The second book, I'm just like, oh, just get me what I need to be doing. But hopefully the third and fourth book are better, and I know there's a novella, I think. But I will list all these books down below in case you guys want to check them out on your own. The next book that I read was actually from my sister's shelf. Surprised me too, I know. But it was called Catching Jordan, and it was a YA sports book. Jordan is the only female on her football team at her school, and a new guy comes into town, and he's joining the football team, and they have eyes for each other, and just stuff just goes from there. He's kind of has to come around to the fact that she's going to be on the team, and he can't, like, protect her. She's going to be on the team, and she's going to probably be better than you, but it's okay. Just let it go. It's been a while since I read this. This was, like, back in April or May, I think. However, is this a series? I think I'm looking because my sister has them. I think there's 4 in the series. They're all connected, because this is about Jordan. The next book is about one of her friends or one of her friend's sisters. They're all connected. But yeah, it was a cute little story. I don't know if I'd read it again, but for what it was a cute little YA contemporary sport kind of romance story. And I don't know how many stars I gave it, because Goodreads doesn't tell me on my iPad. So there's that. Thanks a lot, Goodreads. The next book that I read, I don't own because I don't know where it went or if I got rid of it, but it was Everything, Everything. It was actually a reread for me, so I'm glad rereads count for your pages, because if not, I would not have very many pages. But, again, this was just I had already read it, so I knew what I was getting into. I owned the movie, so I know that it was going to be a good time. A YA contemporary kind of romance. This girl has a disease where she hasn't been able to be in contact with a lot of people, and then a boy next door moves in, and just romancing just starts, and he's like, you know, gets her out of her comfort zone and all this stuff, and it's a cute little story. So if you haven't read it, you should definitely read it, or see the movie if you just want to bypass reading the book. But why would anyone do that? Talking to you. The next book on my list is none other than Stalking Jack the Ripper. And I say it with an English accent because it's based in London, my dear. It's a terrible accent, but my mother enjoys it when I talk like that, okay? But this book is about Audrey Rose, and she is a teenager back in the time of when Jack the Ripper was starting to do his killings, and her uncle is a forensic, what is he? What do you call those people? That's the autopsy. Whew, okay, yeah, one of those guys. And she enjoys science and, you know, cutting up the bodies and seeing, like, how they were killed and things like that, and finding out the information. But back then, that's not what women did. So he gets an apprentice by the name of Thomas Cresswell. I'll take a second, take a moment. Thomas Cresswell is my fictional boyfriend from now until forever. Just to let you all know, he's mine. You can't have him. No, but he is such a great character. I love him. It's definitely like a Sherlock Holmes, Watson vibe. They're trying to find out who Jack the Ripper is. I don't want to be like, I didn't enjoy this book, because I really, really did. For the romance aspect of it. I don't know if I enjoyed it for the mystery aspect of it, but I enjoyed their relationship more than, like, the mystery of it all, I guess. If there was more mystery in it, maybe. But to me, there just wasn't enough oomph of the mystery. I love the relationship, and I will keep reading. There's 3 more books in the series. I will keep reading them, but I'm just saying I would enjoy, like, a little bit more. Maybe there'll be more oomph in them. Probably not. But again, it's okay, because I enjoyed their relationship. The next book that I read was the only 5-star that I gave this whole year. And that's okay, because it deserves the 5 stars. And that Is Lovely War. I have never in my life read a historical fiction before. Ever. I didn't think I would enjoy it, but Haley in Bookland over on BookTube was raving about this book. So I was like, I will give it a try. So I bought it and I fell in love with this love story. It's based in World War I, and it is about these 4 people, 2 couples that meet each other, and the story is narrated by freaking Greek gods and goddesses. I love that. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's just so good. You've got Aphrodite, Hades. Oh, I can't think of the other people right now, but there's more Greek gods. I really can't think of the other ones because like they're like the 2 main ones you always hear about. But there's more. But it's so good. And this straight up made me ugly cry. Books don't make me cry. Like, I'm a very emotional person, but books don't usually make me cry. This made me cry. This made me ugly cry, and it was a good time. And I advise, if you're going to take any books from this list, please read this book. It was so good. Oh, I cannot stress that enough. It is so good. And this is one that I would definitely reread because it was so good. Look at that. Like, I don't annotate books very much, but I did this one in Jack the Ripper because I was trying to guess who. I won't talk about that. Just read this. Please read this. From there, I went to my first ever Christina Lauren book, and I read the Unhoneymooners, which was a good time. Like, I was expecting a whole lot of, like, smut, but it's actually not. It's actually, like, really tame in that department, so even my sister could read this book, and my sister's very, like, doesn't like any of the smutty smut in books, so, she could even read this book, and she was okay with it, so I was like, oh, okay, interesting. But basically, this is about a girl whose twin sister is getting married, and she hates the groom's brother, just doesn't like him. Turns out, at the wedding reception, the buffet is, like, poison, like, the fish in it is poison, and she's allergic to the fish they're having, so she has chicken, and the guy's brother, the groom's brother, doesn't eat out of a buffet, which is really smart because of what's happening right now. Just so you know, like, why did we do that? Ew. Ew, do you really consider this? We used to blow on cakes, or let other people blow on cakes, and then we'd eat them. We went through buffets where people had colds and nastiness, and then we ate after them. We were barbarians last year, okay? We were barbarians. That's disgusting. Anyway, so he has that, like, whole idea of, no, I'm not eating after other people's bacteria. That's sick. He doesn't eat it either. So everyone gets sick but them. Her sister's like, go on the honeymoon anyway, because I can't get, like, a refund. So they go. They have to pretend to be married. That's all I'm going to say, because you know what's going to happen. It's a good time. It's a great time. It's a romance. Definitely a good, like, if you're going, like, a beach read, you want a beach read, I would definitely read this. It just looks beachy because they're in Hawaii, I think. The honeymoon is. But, it's a really good book. For, like, my first Christina Lauren, it was really good. The next book on my list is a reread, and that was Twilight. I have a different dust jacket, but it's Twilight, I swear. I reread this in July with the hopes of reading Midnight Sun in August. I had pre-ordered it. I was ready to read it. I got it. I read the first 6 pages, and I was like, I'm done. So I have not read Midnight Sun yet, but it'll be on my TBR for next year, as is so many other books. But, you know, Twilight is nostalgia for me. I read this when it came out in 2005. I was 16. I love Twilight. I can't help it. I'm a Twihard. I love Twilight. I love the movies. Like, come on. I had a cutout of Bella and Edward at their wedding in my room for months. So just, let's not discuss my love of Twilight right now because it would go on forever. But this was such a fun walk down memory lane. Like, I seriously need to buy another copy because mine are starting to yellow, but it's fine because it's fine. Everything's fine. But it's just a good, if you never read Twilight, what are you doing? Just get on the hype train and read it. It's problematic, sure. Some parts. Growing up, I never saw the problems until you're 31 and you're rereading it, but it's still good. Still good time. I don't care. I don't care. It's still a good time. The next book I read, I don't think I ever talked about on BookTube, but I read it. But it was Eliza and Her Monsters, and this follows a girl who has really bad, like, social anxiety, like, really bad social anxiety, and she does these comics on the, online, and she's, like, big, like, 2 million followers, I think, but no one knows who she is because she doesn't use her real name, so at school, like, people talk about her, but no one knows that it's her, and a new boy comes into town and moves in, but she does not know, but we do, that he is, like, her biggest fan. Like, he writes fan fiction about the comics and things like that, and he actually is dealing with select mutism, so it's a really good representation of mental health, and this is when I was going through my phase of I would really like to find more books, representing that, because I was going to be starting my internship at a community mental health clinic, and I kind of just wanted to read something that was going to get me pumped up to start. So I read this and I loved it. It was just, it was so good. Definitely, you know, just trigger warnings for, like, those type of things if you're unable to read those, because she does deal with depression too and things like that. So, but it does talk about getting help, and, you know, she ends up going to a therapist and things like that. So I think it represented it really well. So if you're looking for something like that, then this is definitely one to consider. The next book that I read, because it was getting into spooky season, and we all know what spooky season means on this channel, absolutely nothing. That's what it means, because we don't do spooky spook on this channel. We talked about this. I'm trying next year. We'll try, y'all. We'll try to be a little more thrillery, a little more like a murder mystery. Nothing with spooky spook too much, because I gotta sleep and I'm a chicken. But I did read Truly Devious, which is a murder mystery, and it takes place at a boarding school in Vermont, Connecticut. I think it's Vermont. And it's like a dual timeline from back in the 1930s when this guy's family was kidnapped and murdered, and to now, today's timeline when another murder takes place on the premises. And the girl who we're following, the main character, she loves, like, true crime. She's my type of girl. She's got my heart. But she loves true crime, figuring out things, and she's going to the school because she would like to figure out, you know, who did it, who killed those people from in the 1930s. And then while she's there, another murder takes place, and she has to try to figure out who did that as well. This is the first in a series. Right now there are 3, soon to be 4. I think the 4th one comes out next year. But I think it's kind of like a companion, because I'm pretty sure they wrapped up the mystery in the 3rd book, which means, yeah, you really don't find out who killed... Spoiler! Sorry. You really don't find out who killed the 1930s people in this book. You do find out about this period's murder. I'm pretty sure. It's been a few months, but I'm pretty sure that, yeah. So just keep that in mind when you're reading it, that you're not really going to get, like, a nice bow tied until you probably get to the 3rd book. But it was a good atmospheric read. Boarding school in the fall. It was a good time. That's my new saying, apparently. But it really was a good book. I enjoyed reading this one as well. Okay, the next book I read, I do not own, because I got an ARC of this from NetGalley, and that would be Kisses and Croissants, and I will put the picture of it here, and I can't even remember who it was by, so give me a second. It was by Anne-Sophie Jouhanneau, I want to say. It sounds French and I can't pronounce French, so that's what, there's that. But this is about a girl who ends up going to a ballet academy over in Paris, and she meets a boy, and it's just a YA contemporary romance that fills me to the brim with all the goods, the feels. It was just a good time. I loved reading about the sights in Paris, and now I'm watching Emily in Paris. It's just, I love Paris, and if I could get to Paris, I would. But it really was a good book, and it comes out sometime next year. I'll put the date here for you guys, but definitely check it out. It's not a long book or anything, so you can it's a quick read, but it's a really cute story, and I really enjoyed it. And then I went from cute story to possibly not my favorite, it's like my second favorite read of the year, which was A Court of Thorns and Roses. And I only say it was my second favorite because Lovely War was up there, man, and this just didn't quite hit it for me, but because that Lovely War just hit different. My gosh, I love that. Okay, so this is about a girl named Feyre who is out hunting, and she accidentally kills a big gray wolf, which is a fairy in disguise. And the king fairy, Tamlin, comes to her house a few days later and is like, you killed my man. Our law says a life for a life, so now you must come to where I live and stay there for the rest of your life. So yeah, if you haven't guessed it, he's really mean, she's really nice. It's a little Beauty and the Beast retelling. I would say for like the last 100 pages, and then it's not. The last 100 pages are like crazy. It's really good. But I enjoy this. I didn't want to. Like, I was thinking there's too much hype surrounding this series for it to be that good. So there's no way it's going to be that good. People are just drinking the Kool-Aid. It's not that good. And then I read it and I'm like, dang it. I love this story. Now, I don't like Tamlin. Sorry, but I have a thing for the bad boys. So the first time that I read about Rhysand, I was done. Like, he sounds like my cup of tea, coffee, soda, hot chocolate, whatever. Okay. Now, I started reading the second book, which is basically his book, because it's like basically in his part of the fairy world. However, I stopped so I could read Christmas books for the rest of December, but I'm really I'm having some Rhysand withdrawal, and I really need to get back into it. But yeah, so Tamlin's not my cup of whatever you want, but Rhysand, he is. So I will be happy to get back into that as soon as Christmas is done. She's getting back into that. But this is a good, I think I got a 4.5 or a 4. I think it was a 4.5. So it's a really good story. I just didn't give it a 5 because I don't like Tamlin. But I do, but other than that, it was a really good story. And then the last book that I read, which is read for this video, because I'm reading more books now, but I'll include those next year. That was Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. It was my first Christmas book. It was short. It was sweet. It was I don't even know how many pages, 200 and some. This was my shortest book, by the way, on Goodreads, it said, and my longest was Twilight. But such a cute story. I love this. Christmas in New York. I talked about this already so many times, so I'm not going to say too much about it. But a cute YA romance based on Christmas, based in New York City, bookstores, Christmas. It's a Netflix series. Go watch it. It was cute. I loved it. So good. Totally, you could finish this in a day. Christmas Eve, you have nothing to do, read this. But yeah, it's a really cute story. I think I gave it a 4. 4.5, 4.25, somewhere around there. But yeah, that is all the books that I read this year. I do have a TBR started. If you guys would like to see all the books that I really want to read in 2021, let me know. I'm probably going to record it anyway, but it's nice to have some comments to read and interact with you guys. So let me know if you want to see that. Also, let me know what your favorite read of 2020 was, because I know 2020 was, oh my lord, child, we don't want to go back to 2020. But I'm sure you guys read some good books. Let me know what they were down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed, because it's Christmas. And Christmas is a time for making wishes come true. And I would just make my wish come true and subscribe, please. And thank you. But other than that, all my social media is linked down below like always. I will have all those books listed down below if you want to look them up and check them out for yourself. But other than that, I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys. Did you just see my lips? Like, if I could... Wow. If I could slow-mo that thing, that would look crazy. I'm not going to, but... Wouldn't it be funny if I talked with an English accent the whole next time in my video? Oi! Oi! Are you? Oi! I don't know if I'm going to be here anymore. I don't know if I'm going to post one before Christmas, so if I don't, you have yourself a very Merry Christmas. Okay? Oi! Yeah, you. Not you. Over there. Yeah, you. The one who was talking the whole video. Have a Merry Christmas. And you, I really like your shirt. Yes. And your earrings are just mwah. And I would love to know who does your hair, girl. Your hair is on fleek. Yes. Anyway, have a very Merry Christmas, guys. Bye.